Close your eyes, clear your mind, and picture yourself in a dark room while I tell you this short Kansas ghost story. One Tuesday night, there was a woman who was putting in light fixtures on the 4th floor at Thomas More Pratt Marion. As she was implementing the light, she heard a laugh. She shrugged it off and just thought it was a creak. But right when she turned around, she heard a group of multiple girls laughing by the elevator. She looked around again, and no one was there. She left and has never returned since. Open your eyes. Today I'm going to be informing you about paranormal activity that happens in Kansas. A lot of time paranormal activity happens, but it goes unheard of. Over the course of my life, I have heard many ghost stories passed on from generation about my hometown. I have also done extensive research over articles in the Kansas State Library. For years, paranormal activity in Kansas has been reported in journals and magazines that go in depth about the most haunted towns in Kansas, some short ghost stories, and urban legends that exist. First, I'm going to be talking about the most haunted towns in Kansas. Then I'm going to be sharing some ghost stories. And lastly, I'll be talking about some urban legends. While many towns in Kansas have ghost stories, there are a couple towns that really stick out from the rest. The town of Atchison is very historical and contains great food and great people, but it is one of the most terrifying towns. According to TravelKansas.com, Atchison even has haunted house tours because of all the paranormal activity. Additionally, Legends of Kansas says that at one time Atchison had 16,000 wagons going through it back in the day. And a lot of times accidents happen, and some of these people decided to stick around in ghostly form. Another town in Kansas known for its hauntings is Stoll, Kansas. CBS News reports Stoll Cemetery as a paranormal hotspot because it is known to have a hidden gateway to hell. Cosmopolitan also states that the Pope refuses to fly over Stoll Cemetery. While Kansas probably contains another few haunted towns, some of the ghost stories that have been shared are sure to chill you to the bone. Because Kansas is filled with rich history and is at the epicenter of our nation, a lot of people have traveled through it and a lot of accidents have happened, which results in pretty good ghost stories. Like I mentioned before, Stoll Cemetery is one of the most haunted places in Kansas, and a very well-known celebrity, Ariana Grande, once visited Stoll Cemetery and shared her experience. Reported in Cosmopolitan, Ariana stated, "I felt this sick, overwhelming feeling of negativity over the whole car, and we smelled sulfur, which is the sign of a demon. And there was a fly in the car randomly, which is another sign of a demon. I was like, this is scary, let's leave. I rolled down the window before we left and said, we apologize. We didn't mean to disrupt your peace. Then I took a picture, and there were 3 super distinct faces in the picture. They're faces of textbook demons. The next day, she tried to send those pictures to her manager, and they wouldn't send. A couple weeks go by, and she was at home trying to go to bed one night, and every time she shut her eyes, she would see red figures, like these red faces. And then she got freaked out, opened her eyes, called her friend, and as soon as she looked up, she saw a black matter right beside her going across the bottom of her bed." Similar to Stoll, Kansas, Lawrence has a cemetery that is also known for hauntings. According to Pacific Standard magazine, there's a cemetery on the grounds of Haskell Indian Nation University that is filled with the bodies of dead children who fell ill when they were at a re-education center in Lawrence. A re-education center is basically a concentration camp that they use for Native Americans, and it kind of goes unheard of, and it's really sad. And there are reportings that you can hear infants crying. At this point, if you're not haunted enough, then you will definitely be creeped out by the urban legends that exist in our state. Myths are something that exists, but they're not proven. They're basically theories. Closer to home, in Hayes, there is an urban legend that a lot of the town is familiar with. Legend of Kansas reports that when a cholera epidemic hit Fort Hayes, a military post, a woman by the name of Elizabeth Polly aided the soldiers who had this sickness. She contracted the disease, and on her deathbed, her dying wish was to be buried at the top of Sentinel Hill, right by Fort Hayes. When she died, the soldiers did not fulfill her wish and buried her at the bottom. There have been reportings that she's seen walking towards the hill with blue light emitting off of her body. That's where she got the name, the Blue Light Lady. Down in Kansas City, there are also many ghost sightings and legends that remain intact today. One example was reported in the Kansas State Library, where the local Ghostbusters sought out a spirit whose name was Pat. who haunted the employees of a coffee company in an 88-year-old building. They never found the spirit. First, I talked about the most haunted places in Kansas. Then I informed you about some short, spooky ghost stories. Last, I informed you about urban legends that exist today. Many ghost stories go unnoticed in Kansas, but Kansas actually contains a lot of haunted towns, many ghost stories, and very interesting urban legends. So next time you're alone, beware of what or who might be around you.
Well done.